number one, we want to improve the property value of the homeowners in the community. It's real important that you get a lot of value for the money that is spent on the entryway. Second of all, we want to utilize all existing plants as much as possible. And I think we've utilized almost all of them except the trees. There are some issues with the trees that meant replacement was the best option there. And utilizing the existing plants was done for obvious reasons. You want to utilize what you can. But number two, the cost. It keeps the cost down. Much less cost in transplanting than in buying new. And third, we want to connect the pond. It's a really unique situation. There's several very unique features about this entryway, and incorporating the pond into the entryway was one of the things that we wanted to do. And so I think I'll sort of sit down and use a pointer to sort of walk through things. Let's stay with the first one. Sort of just for a moment looking at the existing issues. First of all, it's on a roundabout. That's a really unique situation. In a good way. It's a real sophisticated sort of European sort of a thing. Second of all, we've got this large, really wide center island here to deal with. That's really unusual in a good way also. We have a problem with the sign. The signage could be bigger. It's limited the way it is right now. And this entryway currently has what we call good bones. It's got a real structure with the decorative retaining wall incorporating these beautiful boulders. It's solid. It flows nice. It's got nice lines to it. It's elevated in some areas. This one in particular is elevated. This one not so much. It's got a lot of very good plants. We think they can be utilized much better, but they're really good plants. And of course the pond back here in the back. Really neat feature of the neighborhood here. So the first thing, let's go to the next one then. The first thing we want to just show you graphically are our concepts of the it's not actually the sign, it's the structure to hold the sign. It's columns with fencing. And what we have here, 6-foot columns, 4 of them, 2 in the center island, 1 on each side. They are 2-foot by 2-foot square, and they are made of a facade of stone veneer. And I have a sample in the back. Just to give you an idea, it fits the neighborhood. Everyone seems to have a different stone, so there's no matching, except for, as Brad said, make sure it's square. And this color in particular will bring out the rust color of the existing walls. So it's just enough of that rust color to tie it all together.
Is it limestone?
Yes, it's a facade limestone. The cap on the pillar on the column is cut limestone. The cap is. We show right here some weeping Norway spruces that you'll see it later in the graphic behind it for some winter interest. And these the fence is 6 foot, tapering down to a 4-foot fence, and it has a spot right here and right here for signage. And I think what we've shown there is smaller than what you probably will have, but the signage itself will be done by someone else. But the idea is it's a classic entryway, but it's solid with the pillars and the fence. You know you're entering the community when you get to those, and it's tying it together. It's not really wrought iron.
What's the fencing material?
It's black painted aluminum, about 20 feet worth on each of the 3 sections. But it's one way of connecting all of it together.
So you're putting one of those in each section?
Yes.
So you're
Yep, one on the left, you'll see in the next graphic, one on the left entryway, which is the west entryway, one in the center island, and one in the east entryway.
In front of the pond?
Yes, yes, partially. You'll see in the next graphic.
That has to be able to accommodate that second sign. Does everybody remember that? We have to have a sign for the condos in the back. Because that's the way, that is the design and that is in the legal documentation. We have our McCammon Chase sign, and literally it's attached right to the bottom of it, or the condo, you know, whatever their name is, they get a sign right underneath. So you've got 6 feet of height there, so now you're splitting that, you know, if you do 6 feet high in signs, or however, you've gotta split it in half, and the condo has to have half of it.
Sure, there's, I mean, 6-foot high fence, there'll be room to have more sign and then more sign and
Plus you have room for sign in the middle.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
something, yeah.
I think we're ready for the next. Now this, what I'd like to do next is this visual and the next one that follows is very detailed, and I want to walk through the whole. These 2 visuals make up the entire design, so I want to walk through this, and then following those 2 visuals, I'll show you the options that were presented.
And just hate to interrupt.
Sure.
Remember, as he's speaking, that what you're seeing now is best. So we have do nothing, we have good, we have better, and we have best. So to keep that frame of reference while he's talking about what we're seeing now, and then I'll go through those steps as an overlay, so you can visualize how much money am I going to spend and what am I going to get, right? So that's I want to re-ingrain in your mind to think about this is not the low priced option. This is the high priced option. All right, go for it.
Okay, just to orient you a little bit, right here is the existing east entrance, the existing retaining wall. Right here is the retaining wall on the other side. And right now there is the only thing right here is a small, I think it's a crab apple. So there's nothing other than a crab apple right here in the middle. What we try to do, and I think we did it very well, is to tie it all together, tie everything together, unify it, and we did it in 3 ways. Number 1 is with that columns and fence that I just showed you, and here's the east side column and fence. Here is the central, and you see these are at angles. These are not just land sitting out there perpendicular with the road. It's got some real character to it, and this is the west side column and fence. Actually should be down here just a little bit probably, but you get the idea. It's tying it together. Second of all, we tied it together with plant material. These 4 trees on the right and the 2 trees over here are birches, and they have winter interest, there's year-round interest, and it ties together the left and the right-hand side, and this is a bur oak that grows slowly and will just be majestic and stately right there in the center. And other plant material is, as you can see, we are creating a
sorry, I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger.
There's just a lot of detail. I have it on board in the back, where it can be viewed easier.
They're online as well. We've posted them online.
You have, okay.
How's that?
That's better, yeah. The detailed writing isn't that important. I can answer any questions. Thanks, Brad. But we're creating we're connecting them by use of beds, including the tree lawn right here and the area leading up to the sidewalk, and in the middle, obviously, all of this is bed space with 3 weeping Norways that you saw earlier in the elevation. Over here, we're taking out thornless honey locust. That is a root problem, and so is the one that's here. And a couple of pear trees that are going to be a disaster in a few years. And pear trees here that are a problem. We're retaining all these evergreens. We've got a few new transplanted and a couple of new evergreens right there for winter interest. And there are plants in front of the dry creek bed. The third thing we connect, the third way we connected this entryway is by a dry creek bed, and this is really unique. Starting here on the east side, as you come around, your eye will be drawn all along here. It connects to the middle, and your eye is brought all the way down here, and the dry creek bed is going to be very realistic. 1 to 4 inch river stone and various size boulders. We do a lot of this, and it also comes. We're lowering the elevation right here so that you can visually, it will frame the pond coming this way. We're taking the dry creek bed down around the corner and down toward the pond is what we're doing. And if you could see the graphics up close, it's really cool. Using, well, you see each one of these. We're using blasts of color. We're putting lots of plants in there, lots of perennials, and there'll be year-round color. Asters for the late summer, early fall. There's something going on all the time. Even right here, we're planning to put daffodil bulbs, which you won't see till next April, but we plant those in the fall. So you'll see something.
We asked them to pretty much eliminate annuals, because that's, you got to continually keep up with that, unless someone in the community wants to volunteer to do it themselves. So, just wanted to put that out.
Yeah, that's there won't be any annuals in this at all.
You're putting some sort of material in that creek
Yes, yes. We're removing the sod by mechanical means and putting landscape fiber underneath and building it from there.
So if you said no annuals, will there be perennial color?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All the the yellow here are is daylilies. Right here is black-eyed Susans. We've got a plant called Joe Pie weed. It's a native Ohio, really neat purple mid-late summer. There's just lots of color. I show
the red switchgrass, which will be red all the time.
The red switchgrass is worked throughout, and it's sort of layered so that the focus is on the signage, on the columns and the fence, and that beautiful front of the retaining wall, and it just all ties together. Let's go to the next one. The Dry Creek bed then continues over the hill to right here, where it connects. This is where it connects to this existing retention pond. And here we're proposing that we clean up the edges all around here, and put down and remove then some of the existing vegetation, and put down more landscape fiber and some stone that will really accent the perimeter of the pond and really make it look clean and neat and really look good. We are going to add some switchgrass, quite a bit of switchgrass right in here. There we go. And create some beds in some strategic places like this with some single stem service berries and more black-eyed Susans. And everything we have around the pond is a native plant. Contact Soil and Water Conservation Service, and they're excited about what we've got in mind. Would like to get together on it and get some detail in a couple of weeks. We've got a small bed here. We're on the ridge, actually just south of the ridge. We are putting a bed here and here to sort of frame this pond and to sort of help connect this part of the entry, where we at? Connect, maybe losing juice. Connecting this part of the entryway to the rest of it by way of plants, and also this is a decorative retaining wall that will match up with the retaining wall that's existing right here. The spruces that we have penciled in here match up with the, let's go to the previous slide. They match up with these right here. So it will balance it out, and in landscape design, repetition is real important. And that's what we've got throughout, not only by the trees, but by the perennials as well. These are the new plants that we're proposing. Yeah, I do have some juice left there. Of course, black-eyed Susans, daylilies. This is the Joe Pye weed. It gets fairly tall. It's more back of the border kind of plant. Everybody knows purple cone flowers, asters for late fall. So you can see it's mostly purples and pinks and yellows, more the pastel colors that we're talking about. And here's the red switchgrass. There we go. Just need to learn to point. Catmint right here, and the daffodils. A plant you don't see very often is this sunset hyssop. We like planting sunset hyssop. It's real hardy. The one we actually use is more of a salmon colored flower, but it's got a really interesting fragrance to it. The leaves, it has a minty kind of flavor, a smell, and it's hardy, it's drought tolerant, it's native of New Mexico, and it'll be really unique. All of these tend to be drought tolerant type plants, and hardy, and as much as possible native. There are 3 there that are not native, but the 2 evergreens and the catmint. So then here is I'll show you how we have this broken down into options. The yellow, which is very light here on this. There we go. It's all of the softscapes. All the plant material is included in option 1. Oh, and the fence, yes. And the fence and the columns are also in option 1.
Is that a good option?
That's good.
His option 1 may be viewed as do nothing. So then that would be the good option. So option.
Doing something, it's
Yes.
the lowest.
It's the lowest
Yes.
cost. Do
Do
something.
something.
Okay. In the landscape world, doing nothing isn't an option. Because it doesn't get better. It only gets worse, but
Very good.
so that's yeah, I've lost all my juice here. Now there
That's
we
right, you
go.
can stand up there and point.
Okay.
Old fashioned, please.
So,
Could you possibly stand on the other side?
yeah.
She meant behind the screen.
Yeah. It's a 1930s screen. I'll use a 1930s technique here. Option 2 is what you see in orange here, and it's on this piece. It's all of the dry creek bed, which connects everything from one side to the other, and it's really clearly depicted as you see it here. So I think that's everything. It's boulders and everything. Let's go to the next slide. Also in option 2 is a continuation of the dry creek bed down to the pond. And although it's not shown here, it's in the proposal contract we put together, the cleanup of the edges, not putting down the stone, 13 tons of stone and landscape fiber, the cleanup is included in option 2. It's not shown there, but it is. And also in option 2 is creating these beds and the plantings in those beds. all the evergreens and primarily the switchgrass and Hamlin ornamental grass are in option 2. Option 3 is in blue, and that includes creation of the retaining walls that tie it into this, and also putting down 13 tons of stone and creating these beds and the plantings that go in these beds.
And the more extensive lighting.
And more extensive
So
lighting.
there'll be,
That's right.
lighting on all the tree, like really
Uplighting.
making it look, really nice, as opposed to just a couple spots on the signs. At night, all the main trees would have lights up on them and spots on the rock walls
And we've got some pond lighting as well, so it's budgeted in there as well. So it'll just maximize the planting as it
I
is.
think so.
So I think, let's see, again, our objective was to make the most out of this entryway. It's the first impression everyone has. It makes you feel good when you're driving home from work and you enter this really nice development. And it's unique, but it's also very practical. I think everything has a really solid purpose, and